Gary, I don't know if it would come under public comment or some of the other items, but if you want, I can tell you what I had in mind or my question, and you can let me know.
Okay.
It has to do with the park committee, so I don't know if you want to do it under park business or now, but I just had a question. We had a park committee meeting, I think it was like mid-March, and then there was a second one on the 29th of March to follow up to that one, and I was encouraged by Mike to ask Consul about my status on the park committee. I've been on the committee for 3 years, but then Mike on the earlier March meeting told me that it was his understanding that I was no longer on the committee, which was news to me, and I just wanted to ask if there was any good reason that that was the thinking, or if there was any...
Well, you turned your keys in last year to Linda.
Yeah, we were...
I'm not mistaken because you turned your keys in.
We were asked for them. We were asked for the keys.
I didn't ask anybody for keys.
Ask for the keys.
I didn't ask anybody for keys.
Ask for the keys.
I didn't ask anybody for keys.
Well, okay, then in following up to that, I asked at that meeting if anybody received a letter that I had written, because I kind of got a feeling that there was some misunderstanding at that time. So I sent a letter to each of the council members and to each of the park committee members, and I asked a couple of them that were there if they received it. Mike acknowledged that he did receive it. Do you remember receiving something probably late January?
Yeah.
And if you remember that, or I can get you another copy, I thought I clearly stated that I enjoyed being involved with the community on the park committee, and I had every intention and desire to remain on the committee. So if I physically gave somebody a key, I hoped to clear that up with that letter that I had written, but I didn't get any phone calls or email or any questions, so I guess I maybe mistakenly assumed that I was still involved and my, help was still needed. But then at that March meeting, I was told that I wasn't. And so anyway, I just wanted to ask that question, what good cause is there that I would be considered not on the committee any longer?
It was my understanding that when you turned your keys in to Linda...
What understanding did you get from that letter I wrote? Did you get any understanding from that?
I don't remember getting the letter. Me.
Well, I can get you another one.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's my question. If you, for whatever reason, decide I'm not on the committee, I'd like to know why. Because I turned in a key. If that's the answer, that's fine. I just would like to know.
I was under the understanding that you told her that you quit.
Oh, now I'm getting two stories. First you said it was because I turned in my key. Now it's because I said I quit.
You turned in your key and you were going out and get all the stuff that you donated to the park and you were done. That's what you told me, Steve.
No, you are wrong. I did not tell you that.
You told me in my kitchen. Now it's between you and that. Mike wasn't home, so he can't verify it.
Well, when I give you the key, Mike was home. He was walking from the kitchen to the living room with a plate of food. I remember that. So you might want to get your story straight.
I'm not going to argue with you.
I don't want to argue either.
That's what you did. You gave me your key and said you had been to the park, picked up your stuff, that one of your umbrellas were intentionally damaged, and that here was your key.
Well, my understanding was that I was...
I took that you quit, you picked up your stuff, and
Okay,
you were
I can
done.
understand. Maybe we see it from two different angles, but I would like to think that the letter I wrote to the council and the park committee would have cleared that up, that I was still very interested and hoped that my input and help would still be valued. And if anyone read that letter, I don't understand how you could misunderstand that.
Well, we went by what the mayor at that time said, and that's why we went ahead and appointed new members to the board, and if you aren't on,
I don't believe new members were appointed then.
new members are appointed.
I know you're thinking about it according to tonight's agenda. You're looking at doing that, but between...
Well, no, what we're doing is putting it back in because it was discussed and approved by council back in January and it never got entered into things, so what we're gonna do is bring it up so that it's mentioned in the meetings now, in the minutes now, so that we're covered that way.
Okay, what,
That's why we got them on the list to do that, and, it was just omitted from the January meeting, and that's why we're just gonna.
whatever that means, that's
You
fine.
put it in the meeting, in the minutes. So
I don't want to, spend any more of the council's time on that tonight. If you don't care for me on the committee, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But know that I'll still be involved in keeping an eye on what's going on, because I think things need to be done according to the best information the council can get, whether it's state statutes, a village charter, which we don't have. But I can work from the outside in. I have no problem with that.
Okay, reports from committees, finance, Scott,
You're gonna have to come back,
Art, Joyce,
you're gonna have to come back, I lost my paper. Where is it? Did you take it?
No, I didn't take it, I gotta take care of you.
Oh, I'm glad, you don't have to go home exactly tonight then, right?
not yet, no.
Okay,
We're working on it though.
okay. The following, the recommendations for the committee for council approval is, hire Linda Davis as park manager. Do you want to do this separately? Her first and then order and then, how do you?
Oh, yeah, I want you to go ahead and, well, just do it, bump it all together.
Lump it all together,
Yeah.
okay. And to hire Mike Porter, park director, and allow him to be able to hire at least 12 lifeguards. Members for the committee for council with Becky Harrison and Steve Shiley. And the park manager job description is the attached sheet here.
I have a question, please. Am I able, as a resident, to ask a question about that, or is that out of line? I want to, follow the rules. I don't know how.
Yeah, or you, go ahead, what do you want to ask?
I was curious who wrote the job description for the park manager. Okay.
But it was council had to approve it. Anything that we write has to be council approved.
Okay.
Came from a site off the internet for park managers. That's where it came from.
I find that hard to believe if you read it, but okay, that answers my question. And then wasn't it at the park board or the park committee meeting your suggestion to tap your wife on the shoulder for that position?
That was through
No,
me,
that was, no, that
I mean, it was through us, and he has to bring it up to there to bring it up, and then we have to approve it.
When was that done? I've been to the last 6 or 8
Last year.
committee meetings and it was never mentioned. So if it was brought up through you, I'd like to know when.
What was-
Sure wasn't at any at the last 6 or 8 meetings I've been to. Or did you mean it was done off the record or off the meetings?
Well, it's not off the cuff, I mean.
Well, when was it done?
We had talked about it at council and stuff.
Not at any I was at, but that answers my question. Thank you.
We changed the thinking of what we did last year as two co-managers.
I understand that. I was asking about his nomination or appointment of his wife.
If a minute, I'll get to it.
Okay, sure.
We, as administrator, and when Linda was the mayor, last summer, we talked about the co-manager thing wasn't working right because they were youth, for one thing, and they would do things, and they did things pretty well, but no one was really in charge of it. So we decided amongst us that we should hire a park manager and let them do the managing of the park. And Porter he did an excellent job last year, so he was recommended to be the lifeguard, head of the lifeguards. And that all happened long before this year started.
But my question was, when was it, or when did it happen that Mike chose his wife?
Mike didn't
Mike
choose,
did not choose.
He mentioned it at the May or March 29th
Because I
meeting.
told him to bring it up.
You know, Stan, it's either the last meeting in February or the first meeting in March, you sat over there in that chair and said, why don't you appoint Linda Davis?
I didn't say that. I said she wouldn't,
Yes.
I know I didn't. No, 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 no.
You
Using
said-
his words, if you'll shut up for a minute, I'll tell you what I said. If it's all right for him to say that, I'll say it. My exact words were Linda Davis could make a good park manager. I didn't say, why don't you? I said she could make a good park.
As far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I was just curious. My question, to me, it still hasn't been answered. When was it decided that Mike appointed?
Right here and right now. That's when.
He mentioned it on March 29th. And then he asked all the park committee members if that was all right with them, and they all said yes. But I didn't because I was told I wasn't a committee member, so I just sat
Right,
there.
That's correct. You aren't. You wasn't.
I guess that's all the answer I need for now. Thank you. And I don't appreciate being talked to like that, Larry, but if you want to use those words, I have no problem with it.
Okay, what else you got, Joyce?
That was it on that.
Okay.
Yeah. They had also, what was on the minutes, but they had a whole bunch of stuff on the Little League ball team, and what's his name?
Tim?
Tim, yeah, he's supposed to get all that together for us, yeah.
All that money's been turned in, and 2 of the bills have been paid. 2 of the major bills for the Little League's paid.
Because we got signed money and we
Oh.
got different
Yeah,
things for
banners.
How many kids do you think we have this year for a little league?
We got, well, we were less than we were. Last year, there's like 3 teams of,
Like
and,
10 or something like that?
huh?
What are they,
Probably 10 to 12 kids on each
on
team.
each team, right?
Yeah. They're enjoying it. See, that's all you got there, Joyce?
Yeah.
And I think we might as well bring it up. Larry, how do you want it brought up so that we're just amending the minutes to mention that Becky Harrison and Steve Shackley are park committee members? If it did get amended, and then we'll go about it.
Yeah, we can do a motion right now to hire or place those 2 on the park committee, and I'll make a note that it was previously brought up in the January meeting. Is that what you?
Okay, yeah, that's fine, yeah, just so that everything's kosher. So if you guys want to, or somebody has to make a motion, then we're gonna do it like we're just doing it.
Yeah. Then
Okay,
I'll make a note.
we're gonna need a motion to accept those 2 for the park committee.
I'll second. Who made the motion?
Steve. Right.
Steve?
Yes.
Rob?
Yep.
Larry?
Yep.
Bill?
Yeah.
Joyce?
Yeah.
Scott?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get that out of the way since it was in the report. Okay, we'll go to zoning with Scott.
What do you,
Or you got more?
well,
Oh, yeah, okay, we gotta go to the deal hiring Linda as park director, manager, and,
Porter.
Mark Porter as the, is that the name we're gonna give him instead of head lifeguard?
Yeah, his lifeguard's fine. I mean, the title won't be.
Yeah, cause I thought that's what we said. And he's gonna be in charge of the lifeguards and that.
Probably should have a job description for him.
Well, we'll work it up.
Baywatch or something?
So we'll need a motion to accept those.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it. But I don't like the park director title. I mean, it's confusing with park manager.
That's what I thought. That's why we're gonna put
I
head.
don't know who's,
But is he just a lifeguard?
He'll be head of the lifeguards. He'll be in charge of all the lifeguards.
That
He'll do
beach
the
will
hiring.
be his baby.
He'll do the hiring, firing, whatever.
Oh, for beach baby. That's pretty.
Something like that.
Probably doesn't look like it at the ball, does
Becky?
Oh, no, I don't.
Would pass that?
First Hasselhoff doesn't
No,
look
no,
like
I
Hasselhoff
have.
anymore.
Okay, so we got, any, okay.
Wanna set their pay in the same motion, you should.
Okay. When is this question?
Something that needs to be brought up. Since we had two co-managers last year, and Mike was one of them, they both were paid the same amount of money this season. Are we gonna work Mike Porter more? Are we gonna work him the same? So, I mean, that's what you need to think about for his pay. Two co-managers each made $4,800 last year.
$300 in each plant.
Is he gonna be doing any more?
Or is he gonna be working?
He's actually gonna, well, I mean, he's gotta do all the training and everything, but it's just the lifeguard section of it, it's not the,
Well, in Linda's absence, isn't he going to still?
he'll be, yeah, he'll,
I'll see it, and they
kind of
flip
job
flop.
a little bit?
Two co-managers would skip a day, they work every other day over, fill in for me when I need this day off type of thing. So are you gonna ask Mike Porter to work 7 days a week?
Maybe they worked last year, roughly.
Pardon
How
me?
did you work last year? How did they do it last year?
They worked every other day.
They already
Flip-flopped it or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
As two co-managers.
Okay.
And we've also got the concession stand this year, which we didn't have last year.
which
And
the,
if you're gonna put that on, is that part of Linda's
that's gonna be
description?
part of Linda's.
Yeah, that's part of
That's her
Linda's
duty.
job, overseas concessionaires, well, that gets us for 4th of July though.
Well, no, it's gonna be,
Period.
that's gonna be period, yeah.
What's that, a fire truck?
The phone call. Somebody thinks Larry just, that's his wife checking up on him.
Was Golan doing the concession stand?
No. He said, no, I contacted him and.
What you
Nope.
get billed for right off?
Okay.
67 and some change.
Well,
So you don't really wanna cuss him just ahead of
That's water and sewer
lifeguard stuff,
for 1,000 gallons.
if he's gonna do other stuff.
no, I'm not.
No, that's how much you used.
I mean, if you wanna bring up the financial end of it at another meeting, it's fine with me.
When does it start, next month?
May 28th. Well,
No, I mean, when does
They'll be out there
they start, May 1st, or,
sometime in the
Yeah, so
first
yeah,
part
so
of May,
the
yeah.
ordering and stuff needs to be done for the concession stand ahead of time.
Then we
But I
need
think Mike Porter might probably be, I mean, he'll start working on lifeguards right away. But we don't normally start paying him till like
You go
the middle of May.
okay, well, what about, what's the hourly? How does that come out hourly?
They were on salary.
Salary, so
Yeah.
hourly would be
Don't-
more, wouldn't it?
yeah,
for every
We'll leave
1,000
them on
gallons
salary.
over that minimum.
I think we ought to put it off for salary.
Yeah, I mean, the financial end probably should have another meeting in.
We got the description for Linda's job, it would be nice to have the description, see if they're.
that way we can get it, yeah,
Okay.
see what we would actually want him to do.
Nail it down a little bit tighter before we,
Prove anything, you know?
yeah.
Okay, so we got a motion to hire Linda Davis, park manager, Mike Porter, head lifeguard.
Between two and
Scott
you're so you
Yes.
made that motion. Rob,
Yep.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes.
Larry,
Yeah.
Bill.
Yes.
Okay, they're hired, but, I'm just telling them, park board people, that they need to, start thinking about what you're gonna pay these people. And through the, job description of the head lifeguard, we'll be able to determine what jobs are not going to be done that those two did last year. Because they did a lot of, they did
Empty
mowing, they
storage.
did toilet cleanup, da-da-da-da-da.
Well,
I don't
no,
think
aren't
they
the
know.
lifeguards supposed to do that?
I don't know.
I mean, are you, when you hire a lifeguard, is that all that you're hiring for,
No,
just to be a
no,
lifeguard?
yeah.
No, I'm not talking about porter. I'm
No,
talking
no, no,
about the
no,
lifeguard.
I know.
Okay, well, I mean, that's what needs to be determined.
They were doing.
They was picking up trash, they
Yeah.
was sweeping out the shelter houses and stuff
Okay,
like
yeah.
that.
I'm like, thought that's what they
Yeah,
were doing.
yeah, they was
Yeah.
doing much more than.
They just can't run power equipment or anything like that until they're 18.
Right.
Right, 18.
Right, right.
And we'll still have the Crossways guys out there to do that. We got, Jimmy Lang and Lee Lindell's been mowing the grass out there. And they're content with doing that, they like doing that, so. But I'll have Crossways out there to do weed whacking, whatever. We got some trees we're gonna take down, we're gonna bring them out and have a chipper out there and we'll have everything and chip everything up and have them guys, so that's all free labor, so.
But we got safety equipment for those people.
We will have, yes.
I already talked to him about everybody.
So do you think we're gonna have a lot more incurred costs for gas costs for the mowing and stuff this year? I mean, is that gonna be?
Oh, yeah,
quite a bit
but
higher? I mean,
yeah, it's gonna be more, I
So
think,
we're
no
gonna
doubt
make sure
about
we-
it.
Yeah, just for that, or whether it's quite a bit higher than it was last year.
Let's go start selling milk.
Yeah, 'cause we started mowing, it's all mowed now, pretty much, and it's like 20, that's about,
Almost $5 a gallon this year.
Yeah. well, that's what they're saying, but right now. Their gas was here 385 and I was in Sandusky yesterday, and it's 360.
It dropped, but well, it's
Good.
still pretty much, it didn't drop that much over there.
368 in Klein,
3.7.
How much?
368.
Yeah, Sandusky's got 360.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's all over the board.
Yeah.
Well, what we did a few years ago when it went up high like this, is we cut it every other week, that was it.
But doesn't that take a toll on your mower when it gets high like that and you try to chug more?
That's how hot it gets.
As long as it's dry, it usually cuts all right.
You just set it up a little higher and it'll
The
You
only
just
thing we
won't
gotta
cut, you
keep
just won't cut
mowing
it
is
as
both
short.
We just have to adjust whatever the environment
Yeah.
is if we get to that point. So.
Yeah.
We do what we have to
Yeah.
do. But no, we need to find out what the other job description is.
Yeah.
And how much Linda's responsible over top of that job.
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah,
start talking
okay.
about wages.
Go over off the job description and have that ready.
What's our next meeting?
May,
12th of May.
May what, not May.
April.
April 12.
April 12th, I skipped a month, so crucify me.
This is April.
I know what you meant. Oh, yeah, there it is.
Or no, the park board meeting's April.
I would've
Oh,
said
yeah.
it was so
Yeah.
small, I
Yeah,
didn't
first-
read it.
first
I
week
know,
of May.
I know.
Until we make, before we open up park, we can have a result.
I didn't say I was a genius on this, I just glad I got it to work. I was about ready to kick a sucker about for the print. The first time I printed it, I had 2 pages of it, half on one page and half on another page. Okay, any other things while we're on park? Okay, if not, then we'll go to zoning, Scott.
Okay, I had a meeting with all the new members of the zoning board, given what we're putting Harrison and Greg.
Greg Eubank.
And we had a discussion, I'm gonna give this to council, I'm gonna try to make an amendment or bring it to the council's attention, amendment on the fences and stuff. This is your camera talking about, zoning. And basically what it amounts to, I had several village residents come talk to me about the concern that they want to replace a fence or something, that they want to basically force them to survey the property before they can do anything as far as replacing fences or taking hedges out or whatever and replacing it or whatever, so. In our discussion, I just kind of read this to you what I try to do, so basically I want to present to the amendment to council to consider relating to the existing fences, hedges, and walls. We have concern by many village members at the cost of having their property surveyed just to replace an existing fence or hedge is creating undue economic stress on the property owners. The board's consensus, or we agree that we should have a way that property owners can repair or replace their fences or hedges or stuff that's on their property right now to try to maintain their properties and stuff. So we want to try to give them an avenue to get there. So this is just the first concept, I just wanna talk about it, see what you guys think we should do, and maybe reword it or something so that it makes more sense or what things we can do. So I don't wanna put John in a position where he can't resolve the issue without conflict, but on the same token, since these are non-structural items that they can be easily moved or something, I don't think it's gonna be a burden if we have to deal with taking a fence down or something like that because of a property development or things like that, so. Basically pertains to section 3.3, fences, hedges, and walls, and here's kind of what I thought about doing, and we can discuss it and maybe reword it or something, maybe, so it's more palatable to everybody, or have open contents of what John's opinion is and everything, so we can figure out where we go from here. So basically what I'm saying is existing wall, hedges are, and walls that were grandfathered in when the zoning regulations were implemented were permitted to be maintained or replaced at owner's discretion. These actions will be excluded from the requirements to have the property surveyed. Adjoining property owners need to be notified at the time of the repairs, whatever, so that way if there is a conflict between property owners, we can get resolution to it before it becomes some type of battle. A permit fee will still apply, so in other words, so that John can go out and inspect, make sure that he didn't do something they shouldn't have done, way out of control or something, way Commons property or something like that, so we need to find that out, and then basically we want to make sure the property owner has 1 year to complete the project. If the project is not completed within a year, then basically the grandfather section goes away, and then that's going to fall under the existing where we have to have a property survey. So there's kind of an incentive there to make sure they deal with it right away. They're going to fix it. So again, I'm just looking for a solution to this conflict, and it's workable for the town. And I think it's important that we look at it from a property owner's perspective, that we want them to maintain the properties, and if their fences are falling down or the hedges are out of control, we got to give them an opportunity to try to resolve those things. Because I know as you drive around town, there's a lot of hedges and stuff that's overgrown, basically blocking intersections, etc. It's way above the 6-foot height limits and things like that, or like blocking the intersections, etc. So I'm trying to find a solution here that would be palatable to everybody. So I'll present that here, and again, the board kind of discussed this, and we want to have some direction from the council, what they think we should do, and if you think it's necessary.
Your board come up unanimously to say.
Yeah, they did. I mean,
this is a good solution to it.
I think it's a good solution, but again, I want to get John's input, because he has to deal with the day-to-day as well, so I don't want, I'm just saying this is one direction there. We can make some changes to the wording or whatever you think, we want to do something different there, but at least it's one to present to the board or the council, so we can start discussing it and see what you think, and we can make some changes, because there's many village people that, have concerns about the cost, because honestly, it's gonna cost you $1,000 to make a minute survey or whatever, $8,000 or more to get some property surveyed, so.
What you're saying though is if they have a fence and they wanna replace the fence, they gotta put it in the same hole.
Right, same location.
The same location, same
They
hole.
can, they could move it farther
They
into their
they
property.
move
Move
it
it
farther
farther to the
in.
property.
But they can't go
But they can't
farther
go
out.
farther out, yeah.
Something like that, so.
What if they're already on somebody else's property?
Everybody in town, John's on somebody else's property.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a pretty good idea where this came from, and that particular hedgerow has been an issue in the past. I believe Dewey Stump had a little kid there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
but that's one of them, but I have one from Betty Andrews as well, it's
Right.
it's not just that one particular one, I'm not just saying we're adjusting to
Right.
one input, but to me, the point of the zoning is that protecting the property owners, but also, we don't want to create an impediment so they can improve their properties or repair stuff, so I just want to find out a good solution to
I
it.
understand, but then if the neighbors have to be, it's gonna have to be a certified letter. in
Yeah,
order
I'm
to
saying,
cover ourselves.
right, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
So
so,
who is going to cover that cost?
well, that's what I'm saying, that's what, maybe if we look at adjusting the permit fee or
Right.
something like that to adjust for that cost, if right now it's $25 for a fence permit, for fence, whatever, but if they want to do existing, maybe we charge a little bit more because we have to do a certified letter or something, but I'm just saying, it's important that the neighbors are notified that, they're gonna change or whatever, so that way, if there isn't somebody gonna contest something, then we can resolve the issue before it comes to a head, so there's a feud over something, but on the same token, we gotta make sure that we let the property owner somehow to maintain what they have. Because, if you got a living hedge and it's getting out of control, and you wanna cut it back, and you wanna make, we wanna be able to let people do that too, I think.
Well, and they wanna put a split rail fence, which is
Right.
gonna give you more vision than
Right.
like a hedge, whatever
Yeah.
would do.
But they wanna pull the hedge out.
Mhm.
So, I'm just trying to find a solution that you think is that would work, and I mean, the issue comes down to, we gotta be careful, we gotta be somewhat flexible, I think, in resolving some of these issues. Because I think sometimes if we're too rigid, then people just don't, take care of their properties, whatever, because they don't wanna deal with the hassle of the cost, and then it just creates more of a safety issue, and I mean, the point is to try to solve some of those problems, so that the community stays. So,
I have this question.
yes.
If you've got somebody, this hedge or whatever that's out of control,
Mhm.
but that property owner doesn't wanna do anything about it, do you have the authority that you're going to force them to do something with any?
I think right now, with the way the regulations, I don't see where we can force them to cut the hedges back
But
unless,
if it's a safety issue, I
Then I
think
think
you
that-
can force them.
maybe in a corner or something, maybe.
Cleanup committee.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
Okay.
Yeah, wouldn't that pertain to that, because if they don't mow the grass or
well,
whatever?
Yeah.
well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's not, they're trying to resolve a safety issue, but they're also trying to improve the property or maintain the property. So I'm just saying, so I mean, you got two different things going there. I mean, the safety issue should be dealt differently. I think to me, if it is a safety issue, then, the village administrator or something should, okay, we got a problem here, let's try to address this issue or whatever, cut it back or whatever, because most of the time it's probably coming on to town property if it's overgrown that much. Is that correct? Yeah, so I think we address that as a separate issue, but I'm just trying to find a solution to if people wanna maintain their property or put fences and stuff in there, so. Again, we discussed it unanimous, but I don't wanna bring it to the council and see what their position is on it and how we might solve this problem, because it's not an easy solution. No matter what you do, there's always a repercussion, some sort,
Rick, you got an input here?
Usually in regards to the hedge issue, normally there's an ordinance saying you can only have a hedge at a certain height near an intersection or an alley for safety reasons. If we don't have one, certainly create one, but
Well,
I don't know if we have one.
this particular one, the ground's higher, and the hedges aren't all, I mean, they're not so high, but when you're sitting in a car coming out of the alley, you have to really pull out, and there's a sidewalk there.
They go right up to the side.
Yeah.
It's not an issue of pulling out onto the road, it's an issue of seeing the side.
Seeing a kid riding a bicycle or whatever have you. And with the split rail fence that he wants to put in there, why,
But irregardless,
yeah.
we're out for the safety issue, cause we're kinda getting out of there.
Yeah.
But now, what if the neighbor disagrees?
Well, I think then we would have to put it, if they can't define where the property line is or there's disagreement, then we're gonna have to have a debate.